Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Just Because of Wrestling. And hello, Jack. It's nice to see you.
We're in person.
We're in person.
How long? How long has it been?
Oh, Jesus, months. It's been...
We're social distancing, by the way.
4 months. Yeah, socially distanced podcast.
How
yeah.
long has it been? We're out in my garden.
Yeah.
It's a nice day.
Lovely day. Lovely June weather here in Ireland.
Long evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to work it out because we did Mania. I just go by Mania, and we did Mania definitely at home.
Yeah.
So
we did because we had to do it in 2 parts as well. I remember that.
Yeah. So how far back? Like, was it kind of leading up to Mania? That was the last time we did it in person.
I'm trying to think because like February, it had to have been sometime in March, I would say.
Yeah, start of March.
Probably start of March because the lockdown was issued towards the end of March.
Yeah, I was sent home to work from home on the 13th or 14th of March or something like that.
I remember the last time I saw my girlfriend before the lockdown went into effect was the 21st of March.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the last day I worked. It was around Paddy's Day. I think it was the day after Paddy's Day.
Yeah. It
was the last day I worked and that was the day we shut down as well. So the 18th of March was the last day I worked.
Yeah, so it would have been even before then. It must have been around the start of March or whatever, the start of June. So it's 3 months.
3 months. It's at least 3 months, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be back.
Hello.
It's good to have you.
Nice to see you.
I haven't been able to talk about wrestling for months.
I know, yeah. I remember I actually said something to my mum. What did I say to her about something? I said something about wrestling. I said something about about Mike Tyson, Chris Jericho, and she just looked at me and went, "All right, Billy." I goes, "Mom, Mike Tyson was in AEW last night, and Henry Cejudo was there, and Rashad Evans, and Vitor Belfort. They're all there, and it was this big brawl with Chris Jericho. It was mental." And she was just like, "All right." I never felt so dejected.
Yeah, I watched Double or Nothing with my dad, and he doesn't like wrestling at all, and the only thing that caught his eye, he was like, after a while, he was just chatting, and he looked, he was like, "Is that Mike Tyson?" And then Tyson there with his top off.
His salt and pepper beard. But yeah. I know, I was like, it's been hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently you're getting that match, though, Mike Tyson and Chris Jericho.
Is that actually going to happen?
Well, see, like, Jericho did an interview with Sports Illustrated recently, and he's talked about if the match was to happen, he said he's a big fan of the Roddy Piper Mr. T boxing match from WrestleMania 2. He said he said it was executed poorly, but he said he likes the idea of
concept,
it. Yeah, and he says, like, if he was going to do a match with Tyson, he said it would be a boxing match or a street fight. But like he said, when he said boxing match, he was like, "I'm dead serious." And like, because your man was kind of like, "What?" And he was like, "I'm dead serious. I want to box Mike Tyson." And
but like, would it be?
Would it be worked like?
It have to, like, because you're talking, if you want to do a proper boxing match, you'd have to get sanctioned. Yeah. Like by the whatever state commission they'd be in, and like Florida state level.
Like that's like sending a lamb to slaughter, like.
Yeah, because he'd have to be licensed as a pro boxer.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you're talking a huge stipulation. Because I remember like around the time of WrestleMania 2. Well, I don't remember, but I just remember reading that like they struggled hugely to get that match in the ring because like at the time, this was at a time as well where wrestling was still governed by the state athletic commissions, so they were trying hard to get it sanctioned, and they always promoted Roddy Piper as a former Golden Gloves, and they had to come out and say that wasn't true because they wouldn't sanction Mr. T.
Yeah,
in the match of the Golden Gloves champion.
You look at it and you think that like Roddy Piper would be the issue, like, but it was actually Mr. T. Like, like when you look back, like you just assume that one of them was a professional boxer, but like neither of them were. Like why was it a boxing match? There was no reason for it to be a boxing match.
Well, I think it was because it would have been around the time Rocky 3, or was it after Rocky 3?
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. Yeah.
So it would have been like Clubber Lang and
yeah, that's fair enough. That's probably why I think of that. So yeah, I just automatically think of Clubber Lang.
But it's interesting. It's interesting what's going to happen.
But like, if that match gets booked as a boxing match, say, like, there's only one way it can go, worked or otherwise. It's like they come out, Tyson knocks him out in like 10 seconds. That, like,
Yeah.
In
yeah.
kayfabe or in reality, that's the way it goes.
Maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want to kind of bring that Tyson feeling back.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people talk about that, like where people used to bet on how long it would last, and we saw a little bit of it with Ronda Rousey in the UFC.
Yeah.
For like a short space of time, but like it's interesting. It is interesting how a worked Mike Tyson
Boxing
match would go. Because I went back and I looked at the match that he did where he knocked out Jericho in 2010.
Yeah.
And like he didn't do much in that match, but he was not in shape.
Was it a match? Oh, it was a tag match.
It was a tag match with DX. He teamed with Jericho, and he turned him at the end. But DX wanted revenge
What
on
is the
Tyson.
odds? What only?
But DX wanted revenge on Tyson for WrestleMania 14.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being a double swerve again.
Yeah.
And he turned on Jericho and beat him up. But
I don't remember that for some reason.
It was around the hodgepodge of the guest hosts.
Yeah.
He was a guest host, like, so
Okay.
a lot of that gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he was not in good shape then, and now he's in great shape.
He's
so,
fantastic shape.
It's interesting. He'd be able to do a lot more now, so
Yeah.
it would be interesting as to what would happen.
And like, I know, like, it's like it feels like I know, like, obviously the kind of they're well, Jericho is anyway hinting at a match between himself and Tyson, but like the fact that they have 3 former UFC champions, you know, flocking him as well, like,
Yeah.
and Jericho has a stable there as well, like, I mean, are they going for something there as well? I don't know.
But as I said to you, right? I said to you during the week that, like, I don't see how they do this without the Tyson side being faces. You know, like the Tyson side to me should be heels.
Yeah.
So like, because like, look at Henry Cejudo, like he cannot be a baby.
He's just an unlikable guy. Well, like, see, like the thing about Henry Cejudo is like Henry Cejudo is probably like a really nice guy, but like his whole Triple C persona, just like he is a heel. Like it's kind of like it's like Chael Sonnen and it's like Colby Covington, like these guys who have formed personas as
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor as well, I suppose. Yeah.
But like, like these, like, but you look at them, but even like history has shown that, you know, wrestling fans, not that they don't like people coming in from the outside, but they don't welcome them.
Yeah,
so like
we don't take it seriously. Like someone now like Ronda Rousey, who obviously went kind of balls to the wall with it and took it.
But she wasn't brought in for a one and done. She was
That's
signed,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know what the status of like a Vitor Belfort is, but then again, Ronda Rousey was Ronda Rousey. You know.
Yeah.
She was this probably debatable that she was the biggest star in MMA at that time.
She probably definitely was. I would
and
say,
like you're talking about 2 different spectrums then, because a lot of household people would have known who Ronda Rousey is, where a lot of households wouldn't know who a Vitor Belfort is if they're not an MMA
Yeah, well,
fan.
I say a lot of households wouldn't know who Rashad Evans or Henry Cejudo.
I didn't even know it was Rashad Evans. And I am an MMA fan.
He's got braids now, yeah, or what would you call him? I don't know. He's got long hair now.
Yeah, like I go back to Impact and when they did it with American Top Team, and like they were heels.
Yeah,
because like they had to be, you know.
Obviously, yeah, and they were, and it's because you know Lashley was training at American Top Team as well, and he was like the top heel in Impact at the time. So are you going to turn Tyson?
No, are you going to turn Tyson? But Tyson can easily be heel. Tyson, yeah. But like, are you going to turn the Inner Circle then? You know, but Inner Circle are practically baby faces now.
They're Inner Circle of like, and it's like this.
Like,
is
you
kind
just felt sorry from last week with them piling all their t-shirts out of the truck.
How are we going to shill these?
Yeah.
And like I love as well who got the headphones. Someone got a present of like headphones like for your hearing loss for your like.
Oh, it was Hager, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I thought it was one of Proud and Powerful. They got like Puerto Rican flag headphones.
Oh, really?
But like it's like the story of Jericho's life now as a heel. Like he can work for a heel for so long, but he's just so likable and so funny that he just inevitably ends up turning face again.
Yeah, and like then you have the added thing that, you know, Hager's an MMA guy technically, so you could turn him if you wanted, or like, you know, there's tons of avenues they could
like
go
this. Well, like we said, now it's only been one. We've only seen one encounter between them now, so far on Dynamite. Like, we'll see where this goes, if it'll go
Are
anywhere.
any of them advertised for tonight?
Jericho.
I know Jericho, but
Jericho's
like any of the
advertised.
MMA guys.
Not that I know of, no.
Yeah.
Jericho's advertised for a match with Colt Cabana,
I
and
saw that. Yeah.
there's other than that I don't know, unless Jericho calls him out tonight or something.
Yeah, like I thought, like it is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So apparently Cejudo definitely. Anyway.
Cejudo wants to, yeah.
And Cejudo was in talks with the WWE.
Yeah.
So
it's just the thought of 5'4" Henry Cejudo in like the land of the giants. I suppose AEW might be a better fit because like they're, I don't know, like
they would treat him as a bigger deal.
As like, whereas like Fitz saw Henry Cejudo now, like. And imagine Henry Cejudo standing next to Shorty G, the man who's meant to be the tiniest man living. Like,
yeah.
And he's like a solid 4 inches taller than him.
What was Chad Gable? Was he heavyweight? Was he heavyweight when he wrestled?
I have no idea.
Yeah, he's not a small guy.
He's billed at 202 as a wrestler, so I say he's about 180, 190 now, walking around like kind of way.
But it's different then. You know, he might have leaned up when like after the Olympics and stuff. So.
Probably. I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'd imagine that when he went to WWE and stuff, like he'd have to focus on kind of longer, like competing for longer, like, you know.
Did they wrestle at the same Olympics?
Him and Cejudo.
Yeah. Was it Beijing?
I don't think Gable was on the actual Olympic first team. I think he was an alternate. I don't think he was actually, like, he was an Olympian, but I don't think he was on the actual, like.
He didn't wrestle. Like,
he didn't wrestle. I think he was an alternate. Or whereas obviously Cejudo won a gold medal. But Cejudo was 2008, I think. He was Beijing.
Yeah, he definitely was Beijing.
And yeah, he was Beijing. I have a feeling Gable was 2012. I have a feeling he was London.
Interesting.
I have a feeling he was. I could be wrong though, but I'm fairly certain he was 2012.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, Cejudo has shown interest in moving over to the wrestling world. Belfort and Evans though are two kind of random ones. Like Rashad Evans had a solid gig as a UFC analyst.
Like, he still is, though, is he?
I think, as far as I know, yeah. Which is funnily with Fox Sports. Oh no, it's not Fox. It's ESPN now. Yeah, sure, they moved. Yeah, they moved.
So, but is he still? Did he? I knew he was an analyst with Fox Sports, but was he still an analyst with ESPN?
Well, he was an analyst for the UFC, like.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So wherever the UFC went, he was going, like.
Yeah.
And Belfort, like, Belfort's the only one of the two who's not retired. So he's still fighting, but he's fighting for one championship now, and they're obviously based in Asia, so he can't travel to fight with them. So
yeah, I'm interested because I didn't really get a much glimpse of it, but I'm interested to see what type of shape he's in.
Belfort.
Because obviously he was notorious for being TRT.
I reckon he's TRT now, yeah.
Yeah, and like when he beat Michael Bisping and all that.
He went on a run there where he destroyed Bisping, Luke Rockhold. And
he beetle kicked Rockhold.
Yeah, there was Rockhold. I think Dan Henderson. I think he fought Dan Henderson for a third time, and he just destroyed Dan Henderson.
And then he fought Weidman for the title, but he was after leaning down by that point, isn't it?
Yeah, he was after cutting down a small bit, and Weidman knocked him out.
Yeah.
But I'll be wondering. Yeah, is TRT legal in WWE or in wrestling in general? I'm not sure.
Like,
WWE's probably the.
I don't even. But I'm not accusing anyone of anything. But I don't know what the actual drug testing policy in AEW is. Have they outlined anything? Because I know WWE there is a testing policy, but then it's not. Oh, you're barking dog there.
Yeah.
There's not. Like they're part-time athletes and don't get tested. WWE.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because remember they had to come out and say that. Because remember Brock failed in the UFC.
Oh, he failed for the UFC. That's right.
And then they quickly stated that part-time athletes do not get tested.
I don't know.
So and everyone was like, "What the hell?" So yeah, it's interesting. I would imagine there probably is some bit of testing in place, but I'd say it's not as strenuous.
Yeah, I'd imagine there is testing, but like I would say,
but like if it's done,
like the WWE still test for weed and stuff, or there's like that fine thing, isn't there? That's like
there's like a 3-tier fine.
Yeah,
thing. I know UFC because who was it recently? Oh, Kelvin Gastelum got popped for marijuana,
or he revealed that he tested positive like 6 months ago, and he just served suspension quietly, like he didn't make it public.
makes
But
no
like, I don't
sense.
think I think it depends as well on the state. That like the New York, like obviously the New York State Athletic Commission is a lot stricter than Vegas would be.
Yeah.
Because like New York, like MMA is still was only made legal to compete professionally in New York very recently.
Like 2017,
Something like
2018.
that, yeah. Like
I think McGregor Alvarez
the
was
first
the first
UFC
one,
show
yeah.
was 2017, yeah.
Yeah.
So like it was very recent. So they're still very
So backwards.
yeah, they're still very strict about like what people can and can't do. Like
Yeah.
whereas the likes of Vegas now in Brazil especially would be very. Not like I'm not saying they're like they let anything go, but like they're just if you test positive for weed, it's not gonna raise a lot of red flags like because they're like they're gonna be like just it's not a performance enhancer like is it, so it's not going to.
But then I don't think oh no, maybe they are, because I was going to say the athletic commissions aren't involved with AEW, but didn't they get fined for the Moxley and
They did, yeah, the Maryland, yeah, it was in Baltimore, yeah.
yeah, so I don't know how it works. I know WWE don't have anything to do with their state athletic commissions, because there was that thing that Vince came out in like the 80s to say that it's all a work to avoid tax, because he wasn't getting tax, or he was then not having to give tax to or a cut of the gate to the athletic commissions. So he was the first one to break out and say that it was it's all a show.
Of course he did. Speaking of Vince and tax and money, apparently everyone in WWE has taken every official has taken a 20% pay cut, including Vince.
How does that work?
I have no idea. I saw the original report I saw said it was limited to referees and producers.
Like, is Vince technically on a salary?
I think he is,
because he's chairman of the board.
Every year they reveal like the salaries. Like I think last year like Triple H got like 1.2 million salary or something like. But he's obviously worth a lot more, and he would have stock in the company as well.
Yeah.
So
it's different because he'll get a salary for being the CEO, I suppose, and then
I think his salary is something like 5 million or no, I think it's a bit low. It's because I think the highest paid wrestler I think is Brock. It's either Brock or Cena.
Yeah.
And I think they're around like the 5 million mark.
Yeah, I think Brock might even be 6.
It's either Brock. I'm fairly confident it's Brock.
Yeah.
But so I think Vince would have to be something like 10 or something, 10 million a year.
Yeah, but see, Vince could be less, and his money's probably made off the profits. Yeah. So like,
it's a weird one, like because I don't know, because I think like people are spinning the story in different ways. I don't doubt that there probably is pay cuts.
Yeah.
But like the likes of Vince and Stephanie taking pay cuts now seems a bit.
Yeah.
Ludicrous, like.
But there is, it looks good for PR, but there's probably a back way where they get that money back at some point. You know,
it's like Vince is the majority shareholder, like so. Like,
yeah, like he give himself a double Christmas bonus now.
So. I notice I didn't say Triple H here because he's already been demoted, so he probably already got his pay cut like 6 months in advance.
Yeah, I don't think he took a pay cut that time.
I don't think. Sure, he said himself, like, I mean, he made a joke of being like he's the only person who could be demoted and got busier. Yeah. So like, I don't know, was his demotion technically really was it actually a demotion? I suppose on paper it probably was, but like.
Yeah, I don't think it really was. I think what it was that they changed. He lives. Where does he live? He lives in
Connecticut.
Does he live in Connecticut?
I think so. Yeah.
But he's constantly down in kind of Orlando now with NXT and stuff. So I think what it was that I think he's down in NXT or Orlando for the time being. So they're not having him in the office.
Yeah.
So I think they just gave him that title for the time being. He'll be back to what he was doing.
He'll be CEO one day. We hope.
Probably, yeah. Either him or Stephanie.
I reckon probably Stephanie.
It'll be the same.
It'll be the same. Yeah. It'll be the same.
Money's going to the same household.
That's it.
Like Linda used to be the CEO for ages. She was chairman of the board.
Like you have the CEO, the COO. Is there a president?
Yeah, Linda was president.
Yeah, I remember Linda being
president of the board.
Yeah, I remember she being president. I know Vince is CEO. I know Triple H is. Or was he CEO, or was that just the work time? Or was he?
No, he was chief operating officer. Yeah.
What's Stephanie? She has like something else.
She's something like that.
She chief brand officer.
Maybe. That sounds like what her title should be.
I know Brandy is an AEW.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Stephanie is Stephanie. Yeah, Stephanie has some weird.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Yeah. Who were the two people that got fired there at the start of the year? What were their positions? Were they were EVPs? Were they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, but so everyone's getting, the producers and the referees apparently are definitely getting 20% pay cuts, which is funnily enough.
You're right. She's chief brand
Is she?
officer.
Yeah. Which apparently includes Shane McMahon, because Shane McMahon is like a producer. I think his official title is something to do with producing. So like, Vince gave his own son a pay cut.
Oh well, Shane was the first one. Shane, I was surprised Shane didn't go the cuts there recently. He thought I was going to get rid of Shane.
Yeah, I was surprised Shane probably got like a 40% pay cut. So yeah, no, yeah, strange. I mean, like, WWE probably aren't struggling financially, like, you know what I mean. And I like it's something that we'll probably we'll keep coming back to over the years, I say. But like, you know, those 20 or 30 cuts or whatever they were, nearly 30 cuts, I think, were like deemed unnecessary because like it was a means of saving money. But like, do WWE really need to save money? Like,
well, they were still gonna,
they were still dishing out pay-per-views, like, you know what I mean, and still dishing out.
And they're still probably on track for the most profitable year that they've ever had. Apparently,
Are they?
I think so.
Yeah.
That was according to Meltzer now. But do you see? Did you see? Sorry to interrupt. But do you see? I heard a clip of it where Alvarez was criticizing. This was months ago, but I only just came across there. Alvarez was criticizing the Gargano Ciampa match, the cinematic match, and he was like, "How bad was Mauro Ranallo on commentary?" And Ranallo wasn't on commentary.
Wasn't he?
It was a cinematic match. There was no commentary.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So he either didn't watch it and was
just shitting on it.
Shitting on it, or I don't know, he was just delusional.
Just heard voices in his head. Yeah. I saw a thing actually. Stephanie actually put out a tweet yesterday. Obviously, there's a lot of America's in a state of turmoil at the moment with the recent death of George Floyd and like all the the craziness going on over there. But Stephanie put out a tweet being like she wants to use her influence to like create change and like just basically like siding herself on the side of all Black Lives Matter and stuff like and basically saying like she wants to help using her position and using her influence like. And Meltzer retweeted like something so weird. It was such a weird interaction. Like Meltzer retweeted it and like commented being like, "Good, hope you do. This is what you should do and stuff." Like something like really like he was agreeing with her, but it was kind of like really condescending as well. Like it was like really like, "Yeah, why haven't you already?" kind of thing. Like it was strange. I don't know. It's just the way he tweets, the way Meltzer tweets. Everything he says.
He's like a robot.
Sounds so like horrible. I don't know what it is. Like everything is punctuated and everything is bloody.
He always puts a full stop at the end.
Yeah, and like even if it's like something like I've seen him like people like ask him questions and stuff, and someone asked him a question being like, is the Battle of Los Angeles going to take place? And he would tweet it and reply, yes, full stop.
Yeah.
Like, is the full stop necessary?
Or like you'd expand on it.
Yeah, like,
it's taking place whenever. Or...
Like I hate when he just replies with just one word.
No.
Like, if you're going to take the time to answer it, answer it properly. Like,
but yeah. So is there anything else happening in the news section of wrestling? I don't want to get too much into the Jackson Riker thing.
Yeah, I was going to.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of this stuff.
I was going to say it, but I suppose if something more serious of it comes, like, I mean, obviously he's like, I suppose briefly, if you don't know, Jackson Riker recently put out quite a controversial tweet in support of Donald Trump and stuff. I think has he taken it down or is it still up? I don't know.
Still up, I think.
Yeah, I think he's quite proud of it. He stands by his views. And he's been lambasted by his fellow WWE stars and former WWE stars, i.e. Batista.
Yeah.
Batista called him up because Batista is a massive critic of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And even like the likes of Kevin Owens and Mustafa Ali have talked about him.
It's hilarious because he's such a critic of Trump, and Trump was on the WrestleMania that he headlined,
Yeah.
or he co-headlined, was it?
Yeah. Well, he was in the World Championship match.
Against Taker.
But yeah, and apparently, and now a Facebook post has been unearthed from last year about again Riker criticizing Black Lives Matter and kind of condescending them and talking saying
he was with the company last year.
Yeah, he was.
I don't see how the company didn't see that and was like, this is a red flag. This is going to come back to bite us in the ass someday.
It's like the Lars Sullivan thing. It's like
Well, Lars was different because Lars, who was still employed with the WWE, by the way.
Yeah, that's so strange.
Lars wasn't with the company when he made those remarks because he was calling Vince a steroid head and all this crack. But that's another weird one. What's he doing?
Lars Sullivan.
His injuries opposite.
He surely is healed. I don't know what he did. I can't remember what he injured.
He tore his ACL, wasn't it? I think. But that was 2 years ago.
No, it wasn't 2. It was last year. It was one of the Saudi Arabia shows last year. The first one last year.
But that was right after Mania, wasn't it?
It's been at least a year.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's weird because I know obviously
unless he's been quietly let go, and we
we don't know. But do you think he wouldn't have been quietly let go like that? He would have either tweeted something himself or.
Well, I'm saying WB probably it's obviously not good PR to have him there because of what he's said and what he's
Yeah.
But is it also bad PR as well for WB to let go of someone who's currently on the injured list technically?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, is he still actually on the injured list?
Or is it that he knows he's going to be let go, so he's still...
Maybe. Because I know...
In fairness, if you want to talk about ethics and morals, they released Maria Kanellis and she was technically on maternity leave.
That's true, yeah.
So
you want to be on maternity leave? Have a permanent maternity leave. But,
Jim Cornette has anything to say about it.
Jesus, it's all of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, supposedly he was I don't know, an ACL tear, you're out for minimum 9 months.
Yeah,
9 months is and the usual timeline is 9 months, 9 to 12 months, and it's been at least 14. It's been about 14, I think.
But there hasn't even been word that he's coming back.
But he's always had knee problems anyway. Because if you remember when he first started in NXT, he wore two knee braces.
Interesting.
And I think he went out at the very start with a knee injury as well, but it wasn't as serious.
Did speaking of parting ways with people, WWE this week parted ways with Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, and did you read his contract?
6 days, something. He had an out, wasn't it? He had
an out clause, and he also has a no compete clause, meaning he can't compete with anyone else. He
can't go to AEW or anything.
WWE or nothing.
Interesting.
And he's got Gronkowski now.
Apparently he had major heat backstage.
Really?
Apparently, that. You remember when he wouldn't do the trust fall thing?
Yeah.
Apparently that delayed production for 2 hours.
Really?
At WrestleMania, and I think Alvarez quoted what a member of backstage WWE said to him. He obviously didn't give the name, but he said, "Thank God that fucking clown is gone." He's he's no good for anyone. And
maybe Mojo. Only person
I think Mojo's probably.
Mojo's cursed. No matter what he does, it gets either squashed or ruined.
Yeah, at least he dropped the title on the way out. It was like Bret Hart. He got rolled up on the. He got rolled up by R-Truth,
36-time champion. But
the 24/7 division would be dead if it wasn't for R-Truth.
Yeah, Rob Gronkowski now holds the record for the longest one reign as 24/7 champion.
Oh, is it a month?
67 days, I think. WWE recognized it as 59, I think, because they recognized it from their WrestleMania, but it was taped a few days beforehand.
Yeah.
So it's actually about it's either 68 or 69 or 67, something like that. Nearly 70 days, and he has the record now. And it made me look last night because I read it because obviously I saw about Gronk. You know, that he was in the news and stuff about his contract and whatever, and that he was officially released. But I read about I was looking at the 24/7 championship history. I just wanted to go over it and see what was there, and there have been 36 24/7 champions so far.
I thought there was more, to be honest.
There's been 36. See, it's because R-Truth keeps winning it. Like,
yeah, sure, yeah.
There's been 98 title changes, I think, but
Okay.
there's been 36. There's been 36 champions. How many? This is a question for you. How many of those 36 champions collectively have held the title for less than a day?
30.
26.
Yeah.
26 of them.
A lot of it. Because a lot of the reigns would have been that Raw reunion
The
thing.
leader of the pack is EC3, who held the title 4 times, and the 4 reigns accumulated to less than a day. He held them all. They were all on house shows, or one was on Raw, and the rest were on house shows, I think. But yeah, and then there was other 2-time champions. There was Mike Kanellis, and it was Mike Kanellis and one other person who I can't remember. Oh, Jinder Mahal. The two of them both held the title twice. That added to less than a day.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them were all one reign.
What's he doing at the moment, Jinder? Because they brought him
He's back. Yeah, he's back. Yeah,
they brought him back, and he was
squashing
booked
people.
strong,
Yeah.
and then he just hasn't been on TV last couple of weeks.
No idea.
Are they holding off? Maybe
wait until I don't know, because I still think the plan is going to eventually be Drew. Like,
I would imagine so.
Just makes sense. Like. I suppose maybe they want to wait till fans. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I know
there's been loads of things you could wait for fans.
Another thing actually that was in the news this week that apparently I think it was Alvarez or Meltzer, one of them reported that WWE nixed a huge storyline coming out of WrestleMania due to there being no crowd. And then to coincide with that, Darren Young came out this week
and, the Nexus thing?
And said that the Nexus were due to come back at WrestleMania.
What that was it was going to be a photo op for Access.
Yeah, but was there something more to that then?
No, because like when you think about it, like how many of the actual Nexus could they get? Do you know what I mean? Because Barrett's signed for NWA, and he's the leader. Like Otunga's still signed. Otunga's the only one that's still signed, I think. Brian as well. Sorry, yeah, Brian.
Well, Heath Slater would have been signed at the time.
He was signed at the time. Yeah. Slater would have been available. Darren Young. What's his name? Justin Gabriel signed for ROH.
Yeah. I suppose.
What's it called? Skip Sheffield, like
right back.
He just hates Vince, so he wouldn't have come. Michael Tarver probably could have gotten, but like no one remembers Michael Tarver.
CM Punk.
See, that was the thing. Like people were like, was it going to be the full, like the original
or
the original 8 guys, or would have been like would they gotten Husky Harris? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
would they gotten.
And he was on the bump this week. Did you see that, Darren Young?
I saw that. Yeah.
It's interesting. He seems to be. There was someone random on the bump a few weeks back as well. That was just. That's not signed with the company, but he was a former guy.
It'd be weird now though if they like obviously it would be just released a bunch of people. I would hold off a while to start signing people. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe as a producer or a backstage talent, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but then again, they let go of a bunch of producers as well. Like, you know?
Yeah, but they let go of a bunch of producers. But like they offered Angle the role of
the
manager, and he turned it down.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Which means
they have
shame. Yeah, they're backstage.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
It would have been so funny together. Imagine that. Like, imagine just like stoned Kurt. But I was going to say something else there now. It escaped me. It'll come back. But yeah, apparently we were meant to get a Nexus reunion for Access, which would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have been cool.
Did you see this? I didn't know this, but apparently in 2018, so Chikara hold a tournament every year called I think it's called King of Trios, where it's a 6-man tag team tournament, and there was a one of the teams was called the Nexus. It wasn't the Nexus, it was the Nexus something. Like there was an added word, so copyrights and stuff. And it was the team of Darren Young, PJ Black, and Michael Tarver.
That's cool.
Yeah, they didn't win it, but like it's cool that they were together. Like
interesting. Has Bennett wrestled since he left WWE?
No. He tried to break into acting, and had a few movies and stuff. few independent films, like with
It's weird. He was with World of Sport and he was with the NWA and he
as
hasn't
managers,
wrestled.
as general manager,
and What Culture Pro Wrestling.
he was general
never
manager.
never wrestled
and commentator. But he's like, yeah, it's a shame because he's a good wrestler. But like,
does he have an injury that we don't know about? It
maybe I know he he spent years as a bare knuckle boxer and stuff like so. Maybe like
concussion,
accumulation of stuff.
Yeah.
But like it would like I don't really mind because I like Bennett as a commentator and stuff. I think he's got a great voice. So like, and it's immediately recognizable. You know, like you just
it is.
You straight away know who it is. Like
speaking of commentators, Nigel McGuinness was furloughed.
Yeah, shame.
It's a shame.
Well, like I suppose he'll be back though. Yeah, shame though because he's one of the best they have. It's either him or Morrow, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Was he working the tape? No. So far, so he was
one of I think he was part of the original bunch, but it's only come out now.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a shame.
Yeah, because people notice that he hasn't been on NXT in a while, like.
Yeah, it's sad, but yeah, it's like hopefully he makes his way back.
I'd imagine he would be.
Yeah,
I'd imagine he would be. And on the topic of commentators, Jerry Lawler has permanently been replaced on Raw by Samoa Joe.
Yeah, we'll see how long that goes. That lasts. So.
Yeah, because I don't want Samoa Joe. I like Samoa Joe as a commentator because he's good.
Yeah.
But I don't want Samoa Joe to, to slowly be transitioned into out of the ring action.
He is like the modern day Taz.
He is Taz. He is Taz. I'm convinced he's Taz. Just a small bit bigger.
Yeah, because it's the same kind of upbringing as well. Well, bar like the TNA stuff, but like he like
too.
Yeah, but like ROH was
ECW, yeah.
And
especially early days ROH. Like if you look at like when Joe started in Ring of Honor, or when Joe was world champion, like ROH was gritty as fuck. Like it was like, have you ever seen his matches with Necro Butcher?
No.
Oh my god, Jack! They're one of the closest things to an actual fight in a wrestling match I've ever seen. If you can find it, even if you just find the highlights, find Samoa Joe versus Necro Butcher 2, like their second match. I think there was like a no DQ rule on it or something.
Yeah.
And it was for Joe's title because Samoa Joe still to this day has the record for the longest one reign as world champion in Ring of Honor.
It's like 630.
645.
I actually only lost. I was only watching the highlights of his Aries match, the one that where he lost.
Yeah.
Today he actually. It just popped up in like 10 most shocking things in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Joe losing the title because no one thought he would lose.
Yeah.
And but one of the matches was, or one of the highlights of his whole title reign was his feud with Necro Butcher, and like it was just it's just Necro Butcher. Like I suppose if I was to compare him to anyone, it would be like Brody Lee. He's like this big, or Bruiser Brody kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like this big, hairy, just brawler. Like no technical skill, just punching and just beating the shit out of you.
Interesting.
And like they're full on headbutting each other and like closed fist punching each other and stuff. It's crazy.
I have to check that out.
See if you can find it because it's worth a watch just to see how brutal it was. But like you can see at one point that like Necro Butcher is full on wobbled, like he can't even stand, like. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't want Samoa Joe to be kind of to be quietly pushed to the background of commentary and stuff, because I still hold out hope for him to be WWE champion one day, but I doubt it now at this stage.
Yeah, at this point it looks as if they're trying to transition him into the commentary role. I'd like to see him have one more run as a wrestler.
I wonder when his contract is up, because I wonder if he's happy where he's at. Like.
Yeah, do we have a situation with Macho Man that time where he ended up leaving?
Yeah,
because he didn't want to be a commentator.
Yeah.
And Vince said his time's up, and then he ended up wrestling for another 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. When you realise that, when you actually look back and realise how long Macho Man wrestled for after that, like when you realise he was in WCW for so long.
But when you look at it, like Vince was saying he was done. And like Macho Man at the time is the same age as what Finn Balor is now.
Yeah.
38.
Yeah.
Or 39 or whatever.
I think 38.
Yeah, like it was, or like AJ Styles is older than what Macho Man was at that time. Now. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like AJ's still having the best matches of his career.
Like Joe's 41, I think.
Yeah, or Brian is the same. What is Brian? 30?
Brian's not 40 yet, I don't think. He's 38, 39, I think.
Well, he's close to it. Like,
but like, See, we're in a different era now, like where wrestlers take better care of themselves, and like you know drugs and alcohol aren't as prevalent in the wrestling industry as they were in the 80s, and steroid abuse and all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, the wrestling world, I would say, is a lot safer from from a personal care kind of standpoint. Like, I mean, you're not like obviously back in the 80s and the 90s and stuff, that like people were taking shit like because they were taking chair shots to the head and taking unnecessary punishment, like, whereas like now you can be looked after better, and WWE themselves kind of look after their wrestlers better, like, so they can wrestlers can have longer careers, and like AJ is a prime example. Like, he's a guy who's been wrestling at the highest level for like 20 odd years.
Yeah.
He's 41 now, like, and he's still one of the best in the world. Like,
even like someone like Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, I was just about to say Daniels. Like, yeah.
What is Daniels? Daniels near
50.
near 50.
Oh,
Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho 48. Daniels is 50 because he had his 50th birthday during lockdown, I remember, and like they did a skit on BT. I think it was the last. I haven't watched BT in like a month or so, but like the last episode of BT I watched, it was Daniel's 50th birthday, and he got like his presents were like hand sanitizer and toilet paper and like face masks.
The last one I watched was the match, the 200 episode.
Oh, yeah.
Nick and Matt, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I've just kind of lost interest in it. Plus, because of lockdown and stuff, it's kind of not repetitive, but I'm just kind of it's just sad.
There's not much they can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So will we crack into the takeover? I can get the.
I have it there.
Yeah.
I have it. So, yeah. So if you didn't know, this weekend is NXT Takeover in your house, which is exciting because it's a takeover. I didn't even think we were going to get a takeover during this time. I thought they'd actually hold off until when fans can come back. I don't know why. It was just because they cancelled it over WrestleMania weekend, so I just assumed they probably would. But we are getting one this weekend. Again, emanating from Full Sail University. Because of the current situation, they can't have it they can't really have it anywhere bigger. And at least there will be some sort of noise there because WWE recently brought back not fans but NXT trainees to kind of act as the crowd. But for some reason, and I'll get to it when we talk about the match in question. But like for some reason they have them standing for the whole show. I don't get that. But anyway. And also, fun fact for you, this is the first In Your House show in 21 years. The last one, of course, being St. Valentine's Day Massacre back in 1999.
When Big Show debuted.
The
Do you reckon we get a cameo from him in this one?
It'd be funny, yeah. Imagine. Just popped up out of the ring.
Yeah.
Paul White. That's so weird they called him Paul White.
They didn't, it took him a while to, like, establish who like his character.
They never called him the Giant, though, did they?
No.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
Yeah.
He no, WCW owned that, or Turner owned that.
You forget that he was like such a big part of WCW. Big Show.
He won the world title in his first match.
Yeah, and wasn't he the youngest? Or he was for ages anyway.
Yeah.
He was like 22 or something.
He fell off a building.
Yeah, Jesus. Remember, like, big WCW Big Show, like, he was doing moonsaults and everything. Like,
drop kicks from the top rope.
Yeah, he was crazy athletic. Like, he's just been with WWE consistently for so long.
Did you forget he was in WCW?
Yeah, you forget that. But not just that he was in WCW, that he was like such a big part. Like, he was the fourth guy of the NWO as well. Like,
there was calls when the NWO was going into the Hall of Fame.
Was Big Show going to be included?
Yeah.
Instead, they decided X-Pac was a better fit.
Fifth member for some reason. He was a fifth member, but they just bypassed.
Was it to give out all of them 2-time rings?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Because it would have been like Big Show deserves to go in by himself.
Yeah, but like if X-Pac has 2 rings, then Big Show should have 2 rings.
Yeah, but like Big Show doesn't have 1 ring yet. Like.
Yeah, I suppose. Neither is Triple H.
Yeah, but Triple H is different.
Triple H will never get a single ring.
He falls under the Vince category, like.
Yeah. Yeah. When do you think Vince goes in?
He dies.
Yeah, I think we've had this conversation.
We have, yeah. Or else when he dies, they'll like dedicate like a wing or something to him, or like an award.
Yeah.
You know, they'll like
Kennedy McMahon award.
Yeah, rather than give him his own ring, like because like who's accepting it, like the McMahons. You know what I mean? Like
Shane or Stephanie or Triple H.
They'll all have to go up. It'll be the whole family. No, Vince. If Vince goes in, if he goes in, It'll be like that capacity, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting on to the task at hand. Time to address takeovers. Kick things off with the match that I'm probably most excited for on this whole card, I would say. And it is Tommaso Ciampa versus Karrion Kross. Kross, of course, making his takeover debut and being accompanied by Scarlett. Yeah, really excited for this one. Jack, who do you have in mind?
I'm going Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure with Ciampa, right? Because I think it's time for Ciampa to kind of move on.
Yeah.
And go somewhere else. But
he never would, though.
And because of the injuries he's had, I don't know if his full-time schedule is, or he'd be able to handle a full-time schedule because he's had so many injuries.
Yeah.
But
especially with his neck.
Because Triple H had said that before, that he doesn't think Ciampa would be able to go full-time on the road.
And that's what he said as well. Like Ciampa's gone on record and said he's never leaving NXT.
Yeah.
And like part of the reason is because of how strenuous the main roster schedule is.
Yeah.
That like, you know, he himself said that like I don't think I could actually physically take it.
Yeah, but then again, I don't think that like after the Gargano Ciampa like cinematic match happened, I thought that was it. I thought one of them was going to be gone.
Yeah, I was convinced it was going to be Gargano too, like because I think Gargano will eventually find his way on to the main roster, like
because I don't think. I don't think it works with them both being on the same brand. It was like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for a while, you know.
Yeah.
Where like they'll always just eventually find each other.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the kind of caveat we have ourselves at now, where like, you know, it's going to be hard to have Ciampa and Gargano just on the same brand and they're not allowed to fight or interact in any way. Really.
Yeah. So like my thing is, like, I think Karrion Kross is winning anyway because I think they've obviously
only his third match. This is his third match in NXT,
and they've obviously, you know, put a lot of effort and put a lot of, you know, stock behind him coming in, and I think he's the guy if you're looking towards the future of the company.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Not even in NXT. I think the future of the company.
No, he's great. He's fantastic.
I think the second Vince sees the president, like I don't know if he's seen him, but I think the second Vince sees the whole presentation of him and Scarlett, I think he's going to be enamored with it. I think it's right up his alley.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
So I think I'm going Karrion Kross because I think there's more stock in him at the moment than there's, which is crazy to say because Ciampa has been, you know,
like Ciampa. Yeah, you could argue that Ciampa is like Mr. NXT, like that. He's the face of the brand.
So maybe Kross wins and he goes away for a while. Ciampa, take him off TV.
Because that's the thing. Like, it's hard to see where he goes from here. Like does he just fall into another feud with someone, like, or what? Like, it's hard to say. Especially since Kross is being billed as this like destroyer, like this guy who like goes out and hurts people, like.
Yeah.
And what's interesting now that you mentioned it, like Ciampa potentially going away. I don't know if you remember this, but when Karrion Kross was in Impact, he had this way of putting people like out, like for example, when Trevor Lee, when his contract was up in Impact and he was on his way to NXT, the person who put him out of the company was Killer Kross at the time, and the way he did it was they had a match on Impact and Kross won, and then after the match he got a cinder block and held it up against Lee's head and punched the cinder block and exploded and whatever, and that put Lee out. And someone retweeted it. For some reason it was on. I think Impact had it up on their YouTube or whatever, because they like to do that when someone's popular in the WWE. They start showing all their footage on them. But someone retweeted it going and tagged Kross in it and said, "Are we going to see the return of the cinder block?" And he just retweeted back going, "Yes." So maybe Ciampa gets a cinder block to the face.
Maybe it would tie into his neck issues and stuff. So.
Yeah, it'd be a way to put him out, and you know it could fit into well to the story if you build Karrion Kross then towards the title. And then
I do think that's where they're going.
I think if Kross isn't champion by the end of the year, there's something wrong here.
Unless he gets called up straight away.
Maybe. Because we are calling up, or they're calling up a lot of people. Like Matt Riddle is going to SmackDown. Apparently Dominic Dijakovic's going to Raw. Yeah. And apparently Chelsea Green's getting called up soon as well.
Really?
Yeah. Because she was in. She had Rob Stone as a manager.
Yeah, and she
fired him. Yeah.
Apparently. But my thing with this is, I get Riddle. I think there's going to be stock in Riddle. I don't know if they just calling Dijakovic up and Chelsea Green up just for the sake of calling them up.
Pad out
They
Raw and
live
stuff.
in Orlando, and we need people here.
We need people like
But like, I'm not a fan of calling people up without reason. Without a proper story.
Dijakovic's trying to create a story for himself. Like he put up a picture of the United States Championship, kind of tying into Apollo Crews' kind of open challenge thing.
Yeah.
So that'd be a way to bring him up. Like, it brought Kevin Owens up and it brought Sami Zayn up. So
did the Apollo Crews Open Challenge happen after Cody announced, or was he doing it before?
He announced it before.
Did he?
I think so. I think literally just before it. Like,
I love open challenges.
I do too. It's an interesting way to get it going, and especially Cody's now that he announced that the TNT one will be open to non-AEW talent.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be class, right? Imagine this. Wouldn't it be class if like New Japan did like a tour of America?
You had like
or Tanahashi or something.
Yeah.
Or Ibushi.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Or like, and I was wondering this. I like obviously we'll find out when the title eventually changes hands. But like, is the Open Challenge like part of the title that you have to do it, or is it just?
I
Cody?
don't know. I don't know if it's Cody. I'm not sure. But I hope what it leads to is like that he puts an open challenge out on a pay per view, and you have big debut. Because I remember for Cena's, they built it and it led to Del Rio's return.
He was the guy who took it off him eventually.
Well,
it was Rollins took it off him the first time,
and then he won it back.
And then he won it back at Night of Champions, and then the next pay per view was Hell in a Cell, and that's when Del Rio came back, and no one saw that coming.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Takeover. So yeah, we're both on Karrion Kross. It just makes sense. Because he's being billed and plus, oh god, his entrance is just he deserves all the wins just for his entrance. Really, it's the coolest thing going. Next up, we have a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. It is the NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair defending her title against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai in triple threat action. Jack, who do you have in mind?
I have Rhea Ripley. I think I'm
really
going to back on her.
Yeah.
I think Vince just wants Charlotte. He has this thing about Charlotte, and there's a reason she's on 3 shows. Like you lose
using up all her.
Yeah, I tweeted that a couple of months back, or a couple of weeks back, that like, why is Charlotte like the whole thing of putting Charlotte on NXT was to elevate NXT because people would tune in to see Charlotte.
Yeah.
But why are people going to tune in and see Charlotte when they can see her Raw and Raw?
See, I know what you mean, right? And this goes into my prediction. I'm predicting Charlotte to retain.
Yeah.
Right. I think Charlotte's retaining because I think they'll hold off on Charlotte dropping the NXT title to someone else. I don't know who. I really don't know who, because like it could be Rhea and it could be it could be either of the two. Both would make sense. But how you doing? But I reckon they'll hold off for like a big fan making moment, or one where fans can be a part of, and like I know what you're saying with Charlotte being on 3 shows. That
no, it's fine. It's fine. Did you turn off the switch? Was it? Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It'll last. No, it's fine. Okay.
Sorry about that there. Just a quick cameo from Jack's grandparents. But yeah, so anyway, I know what you're saying about like Charlotte being on NXT exclusively, kind of like obviously that draws eyes to WWE or to NXT, but like my thinking behind it is if she's on Raw and SmackDown, I know they brought in this stupid rule where like you can make like 4 appearances on a brand or whatever, like, and what my opinion is that like more than twice the amount of people watch Raw and SmackDown than they do NXT. So what they'll see Charlotte and they'll see her wearing this title that they don't necessarily know. They'll see it and they'll be like, why is she have that title? What is that? Where does that come from? And then like maybe that's the idea, like that more people will see it, and then bring the eyes over to NXT.
But who has the time to watch Raw, SmackDown, and NXT?
Well, like I suppose the idea is like if you get her on all three, the odds are you're gonna capture some eyes. Like,
yeah.
Not everyone who watches Raw watches SmackDown watches NXT, but yeah. So that's going towards my opinion that I think Charlotte's gonna win here, and I think she'll drop it in the singles match because I think like she needs to be pinned herself. Like you know what I mean.
I think they're gonna protect her, and I think they're gonna have Rhea pin Io, or else have Io.
See, that's
Io
what I don't
pin
want.
Rhea.
I don't want. I think it just totally negates her.
WWE doesn't care what you want.
I know. Jeez, all right. Well, like keep in mind, this is NXT as well, so
I hope they keep it on her.
I hope. I think
I'm more pessimistic than I am optimistic about it.
I think they will. I think they're keeping the title on her.
Maybe.
Just because, and I don't think I really don't know who's going to eventually take the title off her. I actually don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it'll either be one of the two. It'll be Rhea or Io.
Think so?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. The next match is kind of the least built match of the whole card, I suppose. It's just I think it's just there to kind of fill out the 5 matches. It is Finn Balor versus Damian Priest in 1-on-1 action. The whole story behind this match is Finn Balor was meant to make an address at NXT a few weeks ago, and Priest attacked him out of nowhere. Priest attacked him backstage, and it was revealed later on that he attacked him. So yeah, Balor versus Priest. Who do you have here?
Balor, because it's Balor.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for Priest, like because he feels like a guy that they don't really have anything for in NXT. That he feels kind of out of place. Like if he had come at a different time, he probably would have been a big enough star. But
yeah, I think they have enough people.
They have a lot of guys like
him.
They have like the Haas division. Like they had Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, Killian Dane,
and
then Damian Priest as well. Like all these giant guys.
Yeah, I think
super agile.
If Keith Lee and Dijakovic weren't there,
he would have been. Yeah,
he would have been a bigger star. But yeah, I think Balor's going to win. I don't know what you do. Is Balor a face or a heel? Does anyone know?
I think he's like an anti-hero.
He's an anti-hero, but like
I don't know. Like,
yeah, but like when he turned heel the first time, I was looking forward.
Like he was definitely a heel for the first bit.
But I was looking forward to it. We didn't get enough of it. I was looking forward to like Prince Devitt.
And I suppose he is kind of like he does still have kind of a different attitude and a different kind of persona than his his main roster deal. Like
Yeah.
So I don't know, but then like obviously the feud with Gargano ended, and then what happened after that? Was it then? Was there another feud before the Walter feud?
He didn't compete. Did he feud with Ciampa?
I don't think so. I think he had a match with him, but I don't think they actually feuded.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he feuded with UE. No.
Okay. He had a match with them. He had a match with
yeah,
Cole,
it was just a lot of matches.
Just one-off matches. But like he entered into he was in a feud with Walter for the UK Championship, and obviously that's been postponed due to travel restrictions and stuff.
Well, that was leading up to a
Takeover
Dublin. So and that's not until October, so that's going to be postponed.
You would imagine that that's still the direction they're going in, and that this is just
if that even happens in October.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, but like you would imagine that this Priest feud is just like Priest is definitely a heel, and Balor's just a weird one. I don't know. I think he's just like. I think he is, I suppose, a heel, but he's a guy that everyone wants to take a chunk out of because he's a name. Like he's a guy like Charlotte Flair who's established himself on the main roster.
Yeah, they never brought him back though. It's funny there. Do you think he'll ever end up going back onto the main roster?
Yeah, I reckon he will. Yeah.
You reckon?
I reckon he will. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what age is he now? 39?
38.
38. So you're talking about like, he doesn't have long in him either.
Well, then again, like, I mean, who knows? Like, because look at him. Like, I mean, the man's a specimen. Like,
he has been. Yeah, well, like, there's a difference between looking good, but like, how are you feeling?
I don't know. I mean, like,
he's been around a long time.
He's been around a long time. True. I don't know. I mean, he seems relatively healthy. Like, we haven't heard of many injuries with him. Like, obviously, there was the one that he had to give up the Universal title for. But like, other than that,
but that was a shoulder injury. That wasn't.
Other than that.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Well, I guess, like, obviously time will tell, like, and it's something that no one can really predict, like, but...
Yeah.
And, like, if anyone knows, it's Finn Balor, and we don't even know if he knows when he's going to be done, like, so...
Yeah. interesting.
So yeah, I suppose we'll wait and see. But yeah, I'm going from Balor for this one as well because obviously I think they're still building to the Walter match.
Yeah.
And that'll be an interesting one because I actually don't know who wins that one. And
yeah, it depends what they do. You see,
like if it's in Dublin, they can't have him lose. Surely, like
yeah, but then you could establish Walter then as a major heel if you do it. But I don't know then because you're putting him on the UK brand then Balor and
unless you have him, unless he floats like between the two, because obviously NXT UK is taped, so unless he flies over, does it?
yeah, Pete Dunne done it for a while, I suppose, and Walter and Imperium.
And Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichler are based in Orlando, like they live in Orlando.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah,
because
maybe
they're the current NXT champions, tag team champions, sorry. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. It's hard. It's really hard to call, especially like with the kind of the way the world is now. Like everything's so uncertain. Like it's hard to plan really far into the future because you really don't know what things are going to be like. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe Priest gets a win here and just shocks everyone.
Maybe.
Imagine.
Maybe it could happen, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Next up is the NXT North American Championship match. It is NXT North American Champion Keith Lee defending his title against Johnny Gargano. Yeah, this has been kind of like a family feud kind of thing, like with Gargano and Candice targeting Keith Lee and Mia Yim.
Yeah.
Candice and Mia Yim are having a match tonight, and then Johnny and Keith Lee are competing on Saturday for the North American Championship. Who do you have here and why?
Johnny.
Yeah.
I have Johnny because I think they'll be looking to move Keith Lee along eventually, or even put him up to the main title picture. But what was the point of having Johnny
turn heel
and win the feud against Ciampa if you're not going to
if he's
not going to capitalize on it?
If he just loses here, yeah.
So I'm going to go Johnny. Johnny, would he be the first 2 time?
Yeah.
So I think Johnny's going to win here, and I think it'll set him up, and it might even set up like the whole domination thing where he then goes for the world title maybe
as champion as well.
Yeah, because what he talked about was taking over the NXT,
shaping it in his image kind of thing.
Yeah, and then you could have Candice go for the women's title, and then it might end up that they hold all of us. You don't know, be a good way of doing it.
Yeah, actually, maybe Candice is the one to take the belt off Charlotte eventually, if that's the way they go.
Yeah,
maybe.
It'd be a great match as well.
Yeah, I'd be up for it, but it would just be weird because obviously it'd be a heel versus heel match unless Charlotte turns back,
or unless they put the title on Rhea.
Yeah, true. Yeah, unless that happens too. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Johnny's winning this basically for the same reason. Like he's recently turned heel and he's established himself as this mega dick, and it's like he's I saw a lot of people though. Like I thought this was a fairly clear cut match that like Johnny's winning and that's it. But I saw a lot of people online saying that that they think Keith Lee's retaining here and that the eventual payoff is going to be a mixed tag match. But
maybe, but what's stopping Gargano from winning and then the payoff being a mixed tag?
I'd have Keith Lee and me and win that one. Where the title can't change hands, kind of thing. But I mean, I agree with you. I think Johnny's winning this. Plus, I feel kind of bad for him because he is a former North American champion, but his title reign only lasted 4 days. He's the shortest reigning North American champion of all time, and I it was like 20 something days on because of tapings, but in reality it was 4 days. So I still want him to be. I think he should get another go and have it for a good bit anyway. But yeah, I agree with you, and I'm looking forward to that match. I think it'll be a good mixture of styles between Keith Lee and Johnny Gargano, because I think Johnny will just bump like a madman for Keith Lee, and it'll be interesting to see how Johnny takes him down because he's such a giant.
Yeah.
And finally, the main event.
Before we get on to that, it's going to be interesting because it's interesting that Keith Lee is so big and Gargano is so small. How they tell that story.
You can tell the story that he can't lock in the Gargano escape on him.
Yeah.
But he has he's really established his slingshot DDT as a finisher now.
Yeah.
And he gave it a name. Oh, what's it called? One last beat. It's called now. So because that was the tagline for the last Gargano Ciampa match. But Moving on, and finally to the main event. It is the NXT Championship match between NXT champion Adam Cole defending his title against the Velveteen Dream, with the stipulation that if Dream loses, he can no longer challenge for the NXT Championship while Cole is champion. It's being billed as a last chance match. It is also worth noting that this is going to be a cinematic match because this was taped, I think, 2 days ago. And this is what I want. This is what I alluded to at the start when we started talking about the predictions about the fans, because apparently when WWE taped Raw, SmackDown, and NXT this week, it accumulated to like something like 12 hours of standing each time or something like that.
Yeah.
Like apparently the tapings are 12 hours long, and the fans, i.e. the trainees, were standing for 10 of those hours every time. And, they were told they can go home and whatever, and, it was a wrap. And they're on their way home, and they got a call back to come back so we can do Cole and Dream.
Yeah.
And that was at, I think, 7 p.m. And when they got there, they were told bring their cars because apparently this is going to be something like a parking lot brawl. Yeah. And when they got there, taping didn't start till 12 midnight.
I love that I didn't bring your cars as if they weren't or gonna walk.
So apparently the trainees were very annoyed, and it'd be interesting to see what the taping is like, to see if it reflects on them.
Just people stand there dead.
Just scream, because that was the thing, right? So this is a weird thing, because obviously on Raw and SmackDown and stuff, you had the trainees there, and they're WWE employees, so they can be told cheer for the faces, boo the heels, kind of way. But did you see on NXT? It was the first NXT with the trainees. Tommaso Ciampa had a match with some jobber. It was a squash match, and they booed Ciampa coming down to the ring. That, I think they were given a little more free reign on NXT, like they usually do.
Really?
Yeah, and
but was it a thing where he was wrestling a trainee and there were?
That's what they were saying as well. That they were booing Ciampa just because, but
or was it some of them were heels or something? I don't
know. No, because that was the thing. Like they were saying, the heel side of the audience are cheering the heels and booing the faces, and vice versa.
And then the babyfaces are just going rogue.
That's it. The babyface, everyone was booing Ciampa for some reason. But
could you imagine if Jim Cornette was working there? He'd come down and gun them all down.
Yeah, they had the plexiglass. They're fine.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out now with the if these apparently this is true, that they were worked to the point of exhaustion to see how this goes. So anyway, to the match itself, Cole versus Dream in a cinematic match for the title. Dream loses, can't challenge the title until Cole drops it eventually. So who do you have here?
I have Dream. I think. I don't know, the fact that it's a cinematic match, I think it's going to be Dream. I'll be interested to see what they do. Because, all the cinematic matches, bar Gargano Ciampa, were all kind of character based.
Yeah.
So, you had the Firefly Funhouse, you had the Undertaker and the Boneyard match. With the Inner Circle, you had, and the Elite, you had Matt Hardy, and, you had Cowboy, I was going to call him. Hangman. You had elements of that. So what can you do here? I know Velveteen Dream is a character, but he's not a cinematic character, if that makes sense.
Yeah. See, the whole thing behind it, the reason it is a cinematic match is because Regal said that he'll choose the setting.
Yeah.
So I suppose apparently what it's going to be, and from what I've heard, and this is part of the reason why the cars are brought back, is that they're going to be in Full Sail parking lot, and that the most dangerous place on the earth. But and all the cars are going to be surrounded them, and with the what are they called? Headlights.
Yeah.
The headlights flashing on top of them. So
like that CZW event.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the lights cut out on
the
proper lights set
yeah.
all the cars?
So I don't know. The dish is going to be fighting in a circle of cars.
Maybe.
I don't know. But
is it going to be like that scene in Anchorman?
Yeah.
Where they have all the chainsaws.
Yeah.
Brick kill the guy.
Yeah. It's interesting that you said you're going Dream because it's a cinematic match. I'm actually going Cole because it's a cinematic match.
Really?
Yeah, I can't see a title change on a cinematic match for some reason. And I don't know, it's just...
Yeah.
I don't know what it is,
But it's the same as his title change in an empty arena.
True. I suppose that's less of the reason, more so because I just can't see it for some reason. I don't know what it is. I just don't feel like Dream is the guy anymore. Like maybe if they pull the trigger on him straight away, but he's lost like twice now, and it just feels weird if he beats him now. Like I could be wrong. This is probably the one I'm least confident about predicting because like I think because they made such a big deal out of Cole now being the longest reigning NXT champion of all time, and he's made it a year now as champion.
But my thing is, who's next for Cole? If you would,
Keith Lee,
maybe. But then you're banking on Keith Lee coming off a loss.
Yeah,
so
but like,
how do you do that? Do you have a battle royal or something?
Yeah, or just a number one contendership thing.
Maybe.
I mean,
like my thing is like, okay, who's gonna be Cole, and whoever beats Cole is probably only transitioning to Cross anyway.
True. Yeah.
So,
but that if I pose the same question to you, then that is who comes next? Who if Dream wins? Where does he go? Does he go to Cross immediately?
Yeah. Cross, if he'd be coming off a huge win over Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, I suppose he kind of has a claim to it.
He would have.
But then again, why not do Cross or Cole Cross?
You could do Dream Balor.
See, they teased
Cole
it.
Balor.
They teased it. You could do Cole Balor, but they teased Cole or Balor Dream feud, and that's when the Priest thing happened because they were meant to wrestle and Balor got attacked.
Yeah.
And the match got called off, or the match just didn't happen anyway. So maybe they go back to that. Yeah.
Like there's obviously a reason why they cut that off. So maybe that is the reason that they're using it as a feud now for the title. Yeah.
Maybe.
Like,
be interesting if Balor probably wouldn't win it, but it'd be cool if Balor won it and then went after Walter for the UK title as well. Want to be double champion?
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. Yeah, it's an idea.
Us Irish people are famous for being double champions.
That's it, yeah.
It's
like a fucking gimmick now.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting. I don't know. I'm dubious about it because for some reason, cinematic matches seem to be the one thing NXT can't do. I know they've only done one.
They've only done one.
They've only done one, but it was the worst one, I think, of the...
Well, it was, yeah.
Of all of the cinematic matches that we've seen.
It was just boring. It was just a match.
It was just a match, yeah. It should have just been a match, and it probably would have been fine.
Because, like, the thing about the cinematic matches, going into the Boneyard match is an exception, because we didn't really know what that was going to be. But... like, the Firefly Funhouse match, we were like, this is going to be ridiculous.
That was an experience.
Yeah, we were like, going into it, you were always like, this is going to be ridiculous.
That was an acid trip.
And the Stadium Stampede match, we were like, this is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, we knew.
Look at the 10 people involved.
Like, we knew it was going to be a big fight in the stadium, so we automatically knew that it was, like, shenanigans would ensue.
Yeah, and then, like, what was the other one? I'm missing one, I feel.
There was Ciampa Gargano. There was the Stadium Stampede.
Oh, the Money in the Bank.
Oh, that's the one.
Like,
that was just hilarious.
Yeah, but you knew, like, okay,
they're
fighting in the fucking the fucking headquarters. Like, of course, it's going to be ridiculous. So, like, yeah, I'm not going into this thinking this is going to be ridiculous.
I'm not either. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, in a bad sense.
Like, I'm surprised this is a cinematic match. Yeah. I feel like it's a cinematic match for cinematic match's sake.
Yeah, just to have one on the show.
Just to have one on the show. But, like, I think if they wanted to have one, I think a Karrion Kross would have been more to his character.
Yeah, it would have been.
Than what's being, like, presented here. Or else, is it becoming a thing now where every big show they have to have a cinematic match?
I suppose since WrestleMania, like, they've had one on every pay-per-view. So I suppose it's kind of a way of them getting around, the restrictions and stuff, like, and it's a way to kind of offer something different on the card.
Because I feel the way, I know we're jumping ahead, but I feel the way, like, Backlash is going, they don't have a cinematic match announced yet.
I think it's going to be Orton and Edge.
No, I think it's going to be Raiders and Private Party.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to,
title.
Yeah. And it'll probably be like...
It won't even be a match.
It'll be like an ultimate Frisbee competition.
They announced, I don't know if it's for Backlash. No, it's not for Backlash. It's for
next
Raw.
Week.
Decathlon.
The Decathlon.
Yeah. What's a decathlon again? Is it like... Is it 10 races?
Running, swimming, cycling.
That's triathlon.
That's a triathlon.
So I don't know what a decathlon is.
I have no idea. To be honest.
Hang on a second now. Let's see what a decathlon is.
Is decathlon the one where, like, it's in the Olympics where, like, they do like the hammer throw and all that and all the points and like the long jump.
I think it's like a bunch of. I think it's a bunch of bloody things. What is it? Decathlon. What is a decathlon? An athletic event taking place over 2 days in which each competitor takes part in the same prescribed 10 events: 100-meter sprint, long jump, shot put, high jump, 400 meters, 110-meter hurdles, discus, pole vault, javelin, and 1,500 meters.
So they're going to do 10 segments.
It looks that way, yeah.
Maybe they do 5 and then 5 for backlash.
Maybe. See, like this, Street Profits and Viking Raiders things have been kind of weird. Like, I mean, what was the first one? Basketball. That was crap. And then after that was axe throwing. Was it? Yeah, axe throwing. That wasn't too bad. It was better.
Yeah.
The golf one was funny.
But
and then they did
the
bowling yesterday.
basketball one to me, and I know a lot of people have said this. It was like it was only half written, because like
yeah.
I thought like what would make sense was that they'd be shit all along, and then at the end they'd be like, okay, if I get this shot, you give us the title shot, and then
like half court.
Yeah, half court, and then that went in. But like, why were they letting them win all along, and then they turned out being really good without an angle? You know, it just makes no sense.
Yeah. They're tied anyway in this best of 7 series, it appears, at 2-2. You know what's going to happen now? They're going to do the decathlon and it's going to be 5-5. Like, Street Profits are going to win 5 events. And yeah, I'd imagine Street Profits win the speed ones and Viking Raiders win the strength ones.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Well, yeah.
Like, how does Montez Ford not win the high jump? Do you know what I mean?
He almost killed himself on Raw a few weeks ago.
He nearly hit himself off the fan. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, you could be right there. That's the cinematic match. Unless like, when they get to it, they're like, enough of this nonsense. Time for a straight up wrestling match.
Yeah, I don't get it. I feel like this was supposed to be for the revival, and they threw the Viking Raiders into it.
Maybe, yeah. Speaking, we never talked about that actually.
Oh yeah.
That last week on Dynamite, it finally happened. FTR, the team formerly known as the Revival, came back or debuted on Dynamite in a way that surprised a lot of people, because the opening match of Dynamite last week was a 6-man tag match between the Young Bucks and Matt Hardy taking on Private Party and Joey Janela.
Yeah.
And after the match, the Young Bucks and Matt Hardy win with I think it was Mark Quinn suffered a kayfabe injury, so that brought Matt Hardy, being the sportsman and being a good babyface, helped him out of the ringside area. But during the match, the Young Bucks accidentally hit Butcher and Blade, who were sitting in the crowd.
Yeah.
And then they ran in after the match and attacked him, and then FTR run in on their bloody pickup truck. Their super sleek pickup truck, and they come down, and it looks like they're gonna join in, and then they turn and they attack Butcher and Blade instead. They hit, I think, Blade with a spike pile driver.
Yeah.
And then
the Shatter Machine.
Did they have the Shatter Machine?
Yeah, they have the Shatter Machine. I think they call it the Shatter Machine as far as they know.
Have that trademark.
Yeah.
So
it's such a good move.
Yeah, it's a really good move. And then I think the Young Bucks offered to shake their hands, and they turned away and walked away.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. They're teasing it. They're appearing on Dynamite tonight now.
Apparently, it's going to be a slow build.
Yeah, they want to hold off. Yeah,
we're not going to get that match until the crowds come back.
All out, I say.
Yeah, I hope we don't get that match until the crowds come back. I think a crowd deserves it. Like,
that's going to be
one
of the best tag matches ever, I say.
Has to be, yeah. What if it's just shit? What if it's just
there's no chemistry?
Awful?
There's no chemistry.
4 years of build, and what if it's just terrible?
Yeah, people are retweeting, or people are showing. Do you remember the tweets that they sent out being, one day we will wrestle the Revival?
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago. So we're nearly there.
Yeah, what if it's just
no chemistry?
Terrible.
No chemistry. Yeah, it'll be interesting. They're on FTR now. We're on Dynamite tonight. And they're having a sit-down interview with Tony Schiavone, I think.
Yeah.
And they're going to be addressing.
I think the way it's going is, from what I'm seeing and from what I'm looking at, I think it's going to end up that Tully Blanchard will be their manager.
Yeah, because he looks like he's going to split
he's going to
Spears. You
split
see his
from Spears.
promo?
Yeah, so
Jesus
good.
Christ.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to end up splitting from Spears.
Yeah.
And I think he'll, because I'd love Arn, but Arn's with Cody. So how do you get that?
But it was weird to have the two of them.
See, it would be interesting then, because like you could have Arn, like have the like coincide with the with FTR. Then you'll have like, can the Bucks trust Cody? Can Cody trust Arn? you know.
No, the answer to that question. I suppose, like, yeah, is Aaron limited to one guy? Like, technically,
I don't think he will be.
because that's the one thing I always hate about managers is that they always have one client. I know, like Paul Heyman, obviously, and Zelina Vega currently.
Bobby Heenan.
Bobby Heenan obviously had the family, but like more often than not, managers have one client.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a manager, you should have
Multiple.
a few. Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be putting all your eggs in one basket, essentially.
What if they give him some shit? What if they gave him like, I don't know, who's a bad manager
Who's
in
around?
AEW?
Jim Cornette.
Give him Billy Gunn.
Hey, Billy Gunn's part of a tag team with his son.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Gun Club. But yeah, I don't know. Billy Gunn, yeah, why not? Who else? Or Dean Malenko. He's there. Most boring manager ever. But yeah, it'd be interesting. If that match happens, right, and they hold off till All Out to do it, that's your main event.
Has to. Yeah, well,
That's
I
your
reckon
main
it will.
event.
Oh, 100%.
Especially after all their jibber jabber about bloody tag team wrestling being
You have to get the titles onto one of them at some point, though.
FTR, I would say. Bucks go over then.
Maybe.
Babyface win.
Possibly. Yeah.
Who knows? Because they're with their rankings and their bloody tag team contendership matches.
I think it'll end up being a trilogy. I don't think. Yeah, we won't get
like
one.
the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah. I think we'll get. I think. Yeah, but I could see FTR taking the first then if they're doing a trilogy. Yeah, I'm not sure. It'd be
interesting.
You could get a time limit draw in one.
Maybe.
You know.
If that shouldn't happen in the main event though.
Sure, like back in like Flair used to go on 100 time limit draws back in the day.
That's back then.
Yeah, well, like some of them are regarded as the greatest matches of all time. Yeah, but some of them are.
So Kenny and Okada.
Kenny Okada.
That went to time limit in the main event.
Yeah. You can.
Yeah, I suppose if the story's done properly, yeah.
Yeah.
If it's 60 minutes, like.
Yeah.
I'll get over it.
Yeah, you saw him wrestle for like. Remember,
if I saw a 60-minute tag team match, I would applaud.
Remember, Rev Pro did Pac Ospreay and it went to a 30-minute time limit.
Yeah,
there was a 30, and they wanted an hour.
They wanted 5. No, they wanted to go 5 more minutes. Ospreay asked for 5 more minutes, and Pac said no.
Yeah.
Which just made it class.
And they never wrestled again.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, FTR and the AEW finally like they have this habit of like bringing in these guys and not signing them. They are signed. They put out the graphic
like Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, because that was the thing. When I saw a discussion there about with the Cody's TNT Open Challenge, that will they get people in like Jeff Cobb to do like a one-off.
Well, that's fair enough. Get them in, come in.
Because that was the thing. I don't think it was Jeff Cobb. Like, I don't think it was I think they actually did mean to. I don't think Jeff Cobb was ever meant to sign. I think it was genuinely just like a one-off thing.
Well, why did they have him joined Inner Circle?
No, but see, that's the thing, because like it was the way they worded it and stuff. Like, he was brought in as a hired gun by the Inner Circle, like a mercenary. But like the way they shot it and the way the vernacular that they used, it seemed like he did join them.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. It confused everyone. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so Takeover this weekend. You gonna watch?
I probably will. Yeah.
I can look. Alright. Saturday. Plus, it'll probably be a nice compact show. 5 matches.
What's the runtime? Yeah, but takeovers are always 5 matches anyway.
Yeah, but like
bar the last one.
Like Money in the Bank was like 2.5 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a nice.
That was like 9 matches.
Yeah.
Or no, it was like 6 or something. But you know.
It'd be interesting. I'm interested to see the set because I don't want it to just be called in your house.
Classic in your house. Set,
I hope so.
A lot of people are calling for that. Like NXT people are calling for that.
Well, like the warehouse is in Orlando, so
sure they
have all the they have all the sets.
I hope we get like some cameo or something like Shawn Michaels is obviously there, like, but just someone who's like
synonymous with
within your house. Who is there?
Mankind.
Mankind, yeah.
He's the one that I think comes to mind straight away.
Shawn Michaels is the guy for me, but like I think he's a bit of a stupid cameo now because he's
there.
He's just there anyway.
Mankind would be cool. It just depends where people live. Like Foley lives in New York. I don't think Foley's going to be getting out of New York anytime soon. Yeah. He lives in Long Island.
Oh, I suppose he's from.
It'd be hard to get people out of New York. Well, it was hard anyway, but especially now with the riots and stuff that are happening, it'll be even harder to get people out of.
You're not going to get anyone out. There's curfews everywhere.
Yeah.
So you're not going to bloody.
Unless like Foley can get to Connecticut and Vince flies him out. Which Vince probably could do.
Get Randy Orton to fly everyone down in his new plane.
Yeah, he got his new plane. Yeah, he said
he's still living his best life. I love it.
Yeah, just see what he captioned it. It was like
fuck the rest or something, or no.
It was but it was like
best greatest. It was like hashtag greatest, hashtag best, hashtag wrestling match.
Yeah, that's weird.
I can't wait for that match.
Was it just a thing to sell T-shirts? Because they have a range now of T-shirts for the greatest match ever. Because if they're genuinely trying to build this as the greatest match ever,
I can't wait for it. Because I
hope it's just a roll up and 1, 2, 3.
It's gotten to the point where it can't be a match. It has to be something stupid like that. Yeah. Or like a double count out.
Yeah.
Double DQ.
Or someone gets injured on the way to the ring. Or
like Orton trips and like dislocates his shoulder again or something.
Edge trips and gets stretchered out on a neck brace.
Jesus.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like the way they're billing it, it's going to main event.
Yeah. I'm watching that match. I'm watching the pay-per-view just for that, though. Genuinely.
Yeah.
The rest of the card is terrible. So far, anyway. There's only like 4 matches announced.
I'm intrigued to see McIntyre Lashley.
Yeah, that could be good. That could be fun. But like, I'm coming in here for one match only. That's Edge and Orton.
Yeah, or whatever the Viking Raiders and.
Well, that's not even announced, but I'd imagine it would be soon. Like, it's next week and they only have 4 matches announced. 4 matches announced.
Yeah, but they've.
And we'll see Seth Rollins against either Mysterio or Black. I say. But well, actually, no, he wrestled Black on Raw.
Yeah,
Black beat him clean.
It looks like he's entering a feud with Dominic.
Dominic's just there anyway. He's like
he always looks like he's going to enter a feud. Yeah. Remember, he was entering a feud with Joe for a while, and Joe.
I reckon we might get a 6-man. It might be Mysterio, Black, and Carrillo against Rollins, Theory, and Murphy.
Yeah,
I reckon that might be one.
I like Theory with Rollins.
I do too. I think it's really good. It's better than the Zelina one.
It's better than him with the Mexicans and all those.
There's the new LWO for some reason.
So that's pretty much it, really.
That's pretty much it,
yeah.
We'll talk next week where we'll be talking about Backlash more. We'll go into Backlash in detail.
And we'll break down what has happened
at Takeover.
Nxt Takeover.
And any other. Also, before we go, I suppose we'll have to just offer our condolences as well to the family of Danny Havoc.
Oh, yeah.
Who unfortunately passed away during the week at the age of 34.
The Japanese wrestler.
Hana Kimura.
Because we didn't really mention that last week.
Hana Kimura, who passed away about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And passed away unfortunately at the age of just 22. Like horribly young, for someone to die like that. And it's a reflection on cyberbullying and stuff, and that, like, how horrible people can be,
Yeah.
And of course Danny Havoc as well, who died a few days ago. At the age of 34, his cause of death hasn't been disclosed yet. But a lot of the speculation and the reports going around is that it was also suicide. His wife died only last month from heart failure.
Yeah.
So it seemed like he was in a pretty rough place. Danny Havoc, of course, one of the the founding fathers of deathmatch wrestling in America, and one of the founding fathers of CCW.
Yeah.
And he wrestled the last years with GCW as well. So our thoughts and prayers go to his family.
Yeah, it's sad. It's been a tough couple of weeks for
the wrestling community.
It's been a tough couple of weeks for, I think, all communities. So like it's hopefully we'll have turned a corner, and next week we'll be reporting happier news. But for now, our thoughts are with anyone who's affected by those deaths, or the death of George Floyd as well. So that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. We'll talk to you next week, and thanks for listening.